Hello guys, this is Rahim. Welcome to Software Studies tutorial. Today we are going to discuss waterfall model. What is waterfall model? What are the advantages and what are the disadvantages of waterfall model? So let's begin. Waterfall model. The waterfall model was first process model to be introduced. It is very simple to understand and use. In waterfall model, each phase must be completed before the next phase can begin and there is no overlapping in the phase. Waterfall model is the earliest SDLC approach that was used for the software development. SDLC stands for Software Development Life Cycle, as you have been studied. If you have not studied SDLC, so please you can check in the video list. I will upload that SDLC in my next tutorial. So waterfall model, the waterfall approach, the whole process of software development is divided into separate phases. The outcome of one phase acts as the input of the next phase sequentially. This means that any phase in the development process begins only if the previous phase is completed. This means that if one of the phase completed, then the next phase will be started after the completion of the previous phase. The waterfall model is a sequential design process in which progress is seen as flowing steady downward like a waterfall through the phases of conception, initiation, analysis, design, construction, testing, production or implementation, and maintenance. It means that the progress in every phase can be seen clearly. That as the waterfall model illustrates the software development process in a linear sequential flow, hence it is also referred as linear sequential life cycle model. These are the phases of waterfall model. Number 1, requirements, system design, implementation, integration and testings, development of system, maintenance. As the requirements phase completes, after the completion of the requirements phase, the system design started. Never, if the requirements phase doesn't complete, so we can't start the system design. Similarly, after the completion of system design, the implementation phase start, and so on. Now we are going to discuss the first phase, which is requirements. The first phase involves understanding what needs to be designed and what is its function, purpose, etc. Here the specification of the input and output of the final product are studied and marked. So in the first phase we gather the requirements. All the things comes around the requirements. In the second phase, which is system design, after the completion of the first phase, the second phase begin to start, which is system design. The requirements of specification from first phase are studied in this phase and system design is prepared. System design helps in specifying hardware and system requirements and also helps in defining overall system architecture. The software code to be written in the next stage is created now. So the summary of this phase is the requirement specification is in the first phase we studied. So on the basis of that requirements we design the system in this phase. Number third is implementation. After the completion of the previous phase, the implementation starts. With inputs from system design, the system is first developed in small programs called units, which are integrated in the next phase. Each unit is developed and tested for its functionality, which is referred to as unit testing. In this phase, the small units are developed. After developing that small units of a project or of an application, and that small unit then tested, and in the next phase these small units which are developed and tested are integrated in the system. So let's go to the next phase, which is integration and testing. All the units developed in the implementation phase are integrated into a system after testing of each unit. The software design need to go through constant software testing to find out if there are any flaw or errors. Testing is done so that the client does not face any problem during the installation of the software. We have the next phase is deployment of system. Once the functional and non-functional testing is done, the product is deployed in the customer environment or released into the market. As we studied in the last phase that the system, the product we developed is tested, all the tests applied and successful, so the application or the project will be launched in the market. One of the purpose of the deployment of the system is to check or to check the project by the users. If there is any deficiencies or any errors or bugs, so that will be debugged and omitted by the next phase. Maintenance. These steps occur after installation and involves making modifications to the systems or individual components to alter distributes or improve performance. These modification arises either due to change requests initiated by the customers or defects uncovered during live use of the system. Client is provided with regular maintenance and support for the developed software. For example, if we have an application, the users will use that application. If they have found any further requirements or any updations with the passage of time, so in the maintenance phase that updation will be fixed and that errors and requirement will also be fixed in this maintenance phase. Now all these phases are cascaded to each other, in which progress seems as flowing steady downward like a waterfall through the phase. The next phase is started only after the defined set of goals are achieved for previous phase and is signed off. So the name waterfall model. Advantages of waterfall development is that it allows for departmentalization and control. A schedule can be set with deadline for each stage of development and a product can proceed through the development process model phase one by one. The waterfall model progress through easily understandable and explainable phase and thus it is easy to use. It is easy to manage due to the rigidity of the model. Each phase has specific deliverable and a review process. The main theme is that in every phase the result will be shown and you can see that. In this model, phases are proceeded and completed one at a time and they do not overlap. Waterfall model works well for smaller projects where requirements are very well understood. One point should all the time be remembered that the requirements for waterfall model should be well understood. It is difficult, these are the disadvantages of waterfall model. It is difficult to estimate time and cost for each phase of the development process. So for the waterfall, there is one disadvantage is that the time estimated for a phase is difficult to estimate. Once an application is in the testing stage, it is very difficult to go back and change something that was not well thought out in the concept stage. Once a phase completed, it is very difficult to come back to come back to that stage. For example, if you are in if you are in design phase, so it is very difficult for you to come back to the requirement phase again. This is one of the drawback of the waterfall model or the disadvantages of the waterfall model. The one of the disadvantages is not a good model for complex and object oriented projects. It is not good for complex and object oriented projects. Not suitable for the projects where requirements are at a moderate to high risk of changing. It means that if there is a risk of changing the requirement, so the waterfall model is not suitable. Understood? Okay. So this was waterfall model. Hopefully you guys understood. Thank you so much for watching. Please subscribe our YouTube channel for more videos. Have a good day. Goodbye.